Back in the good old days, we used to have our computers inside of our keyboards, and it's been a while since we've been doing things like that, but Raspberry Pi has decided to throw it back in a modern way with the Raspberry Pi 500 Plus. Let's go ahead and start unboxing this bad boy right here because I am super excited to do some tinkering on it. And another blue screen, Jesus.
Dude, I've been telling you to do your updates for about 3 weeks. It's time.
I ain't downloading those microslop updates.
Look man, things with Windows 11 are getting better. I know it's kind of hard to believe, but they are improving Windows 11.
Well, I mean, if you say so, but I still do need to activate my actual Windows install.
Oh, that part's easy. With today's video sponsor, GVGMall. It's super easy to activate your PC with GVGMall. Go to the website using the link down below, copy code TB20 on checkout to save up to 25% off your purchase of a Windows 11 activation, and using our discount code, it makes the Windows 11 Pro license $26.
Huh, I didn't know it was that easy. I guess I'll go ahead and buy a key.
Yeah, it's that easy. And once you purchase your key, it'll get sent directly to your account. Go to your activation settings within Windows, copy and paste your key, hit activate, and boom, you have an activated copy of Windows 11 Pro. We've been using GVGMall for years to activate the gaming PCs and other devices that we have that run Windows 11, so be sure to use those links down below to buy your Windows key today.
So thanks to GVGMall for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back into it. So funny enough, I bought the 500 Plus about, I'm gonna say a month ago, and I bought it from CanaKit. They're one of Raspberry Pi's like main distributors, and I paid $260. So that's a great price right now, by the way, because they have gone up to $410 for their starting price, depending on what spec range you get. And basically what this is it's a Raspberry Pi 5, which a lot of you guys already know about. Many of you all love it. And they've basically taken that and put it inside of a keyboard. Now, what's cool about this keyboard, the Plus version, is it's a mechanical keyboard. So yeah, Raspberry Pi, apparently they can get down and dirty with the gamers. But just look at this thing. It's actually pretty small. It kind of is Apple-esque in a way, I feel, with its simplicity. It's supposed to be full RGB. We'll see if it really is. And I think it uses Gatoron switches, if I'm not mistaken, kind of like a chiclet low profile style keycap. And I'm pretty excited because the Raspberry Pi 5 Plus is pretty good. Matt and I have reviewed it maybe once or twice before, but the fact that they're putting it inside of this for just a little bit more makes it even cooler. Now, I bought these two accessories right here separate. This right here is a USB-C for power. It also comes with the power brick, and I'm not exactly sure the wattage or what brand it is. I think I only paid like $8 extra for it, so it felt worth it. It is CanaKit brand, and it's 45 watts, which is gonna be plenty to drive this Raspberry Pi, plus any accessories we hook up to it. So you gotta use this little rinky-dinky guy right here. I wanna say that they put two on this, but we'll find out once we actually open it. And I know that this comes in a base model. You can get it with the 500, which I think is just non-RGB and non-tactile. Or, of course, I mean, guys, we're gamers. We had to get the Plus because, by the way, I am going to be trying to download a ton of games on this. I have no clue how successful I'm going to be because, little spoiler alert, you're going to get to see me playing around with Linux. You guys know I don't love playing around with Linux, but I gotta do it because this is an ARM-based CPU inside of this Raspberry Pi. All right, so here's our keyboard, and I'm so excited to hear it. I wonder if it's gonna be clickies, because it does say tactile, so we might be really throwing it back. Oh my gosh, they're really clicky. Woo, listen to that. That is about as clicky as it gets. Hey, for the gamers out there, you might like this. For you guys while I'm benchmarking it, you're just gonna be hearing that. It's gonna go crazy. It should be full RGB, which is really cool. And look, this is all of our ports built into the back. Now you can tell that this isn't just a Raspberry Pi stuck in here and then you just get the ports. Like, there's clearly some ribbon cableage going on here because a Raspberry Pi is not this big, but we get a gigabit Ethernet port. We have Wi-Fi 6 built in, by the way, which is really cool. We have two micro HDMI outs. We have our USB-C in for power. We have a micro SD card reader, which, by the way, you can also put your operating system on. We have two USB 3.2s and a USB 2. So pretty good port selection, and overall, it's a nice layout. Everything is on the back, including the power, and this is technically like a TKL size keyboard. We don't get the numpads, so you numpad users out there, you may have to buy a separate one. And I also watched some videos, maybe they had prototypes, but I just noticed you can change like the RGB modes and brightness here. I know I watched some videos and they were like, I don't know how to change the RGB, so maybe they added that more recently to this model here. And oh, there's one more thing in the box. What is this? You know, this, I don't think this is hot swap, but now I feel like I have to check. Because they give us a keycap puller, but not a switch. Oh my gosh. Oh, did these come off? Oh gosh, okay, wow. Look how thin this thing is. It really is a chiclet style. So, you know, it's weird. This is basically a cherry stem, but it has a surrounding around it, which No, I don't think that makes it proprietary, because if you look, that is just a normal how a Cherry connector looks. So I don't know, I guess it's just for extra stabilization, make it a little less wobbly. But as you can see, these are Gatoron. I don't know how well Jonah can zoom in here, but those are Gatoron, and they're very clicky. Maybe a Gatoron gray switch of some sort. I'm sure we can figure out exactly what they are and leave it right here. And based on them not having the other side, I'm gonna say that this thing isn't hot swap, or at least I'm not gonna try to pull one of these out and end up breaking it. I noticed that they give us this too, which is a pry tool. I'm willing to bet it's so that you can actually pry this housing apart, which appears to just be held in with 5 Phillips screws, so nothing too crazy. I'm sure that it's Raspberry Pi. They want you to tinker, so it's probably not hard to take this apart. And look at that, they even give you like some passive cooling, because I don't think that this thing has a fan in it, but hey, we'll find out. And by the way, there is some really awesome videos that I'll try to remember to leave links down below that are people who have done full breakdowns on these. There's one guy who even had his CT scanned, so you could see like all of the layers and everything. I can't believe he did that, but that's really cool. So there will be links down below if you want some really in-depth videos on this, but you're gonna get a typical ToastyBros video out of this. I am going to see what the heck I can make this do and what games I can make it play. Let's go ahead and go over there and start tinkering. Ladies and gentlemen, I am on this bad boy right here. This is so cool. This is the whole PC inside of this little Gatoron switch keyboard. You know, once again, I'm gonna say a lot of things wrong in this video. I'm gonna sound ignorant to a lot of things because I don't use Linux regularly, and I've barely used Linux in general. So what I've kind of told myself is, I know every time I have used Linux on Raspberry Pis and stuff, normally I go straight to like Ubuntu. I think I've tried a couple different flavors of Ubuntu before. I know I've tried like Mint and some other Fedora stuff, but regardless, I feel like I haven't given Raspberry Pi OS much of a go, because I'm like, how can I get Steam? How can I get like the games? Because that's what I want to do, is I want to see what weird games that shouldn't run on Linux can I get to run. I'm not going to necessarily do that for this video, at least not right away. I'm going to try out Raspberry Pi OS. I'm going to give it a fair chance, essentially. And I just want to see if I can game on this thing, you know, and like what things I can actually do with it. Is Raspberry Pi OS good? I don't really know yet, so we're gonna figure that out. Supposedly the Wi-Fi should be pretty good on this thing. I don't really know how great the range is going to be, but I think it's 802.11 like N/B/G. I can barely even remember or tell you what half of those mean. Let's do the Chromium, because you know it's a little bit similar to what I'm used to. Operating system and applications will now be checked and updated if necessary. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it. Which actually, I should plug this thing into Ethernet, because we could do this a lot quicker. I don't know if it'll work now or not, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get through like this whole entire setup. By the way, I love the background is sick on this like the OEM OS. But anyways, let's go ahead and get through this install. I'm gonna get everything set up. I'm gonna get into the actual desktop environment. And then we're gonna go from there. We're gonna see what all we can actually do with Raspberry Pi OS on our 500 Plus. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Raspberry Pi OS, and this is kind of my first time, well, all right, I'm not gonna lie, I spent about 5 minutes kind of going through and figuring a little bit of what's going on out. So firstly, I put us at 1080p. This is actually a 4K monitor. We're at 1080p right now. It's looking real good. I did already do a little bit of like preference changing. The best part is you don't have to activate Windows or anything to do this, because you know Linux is all free. I've already kind of done a little bit of customization. The only things I really did is I made the screen 1080p, and then I moved the taskbar to the bottom to kind of make it a little more Windows-esque. You know, you can change some of the colors too, which is nice. Apparently you can change the themes, which I didn't even realize. There's a lot of cool, like little quirky customization things you can do. I noticed this too, this is really cool. Raspberry Pi Connect, and then if you click help, it actually shows you. From what I can tell, it's basically like a remote desktop that's for Raspberry Pis. So I don't know if it's only Raspberry Pi to Raspberry Pi. It does say mobile. So I guess maybe this is like a remote desktop that if you have the app, as long as you have whatever it takes to actually connect to it, I could like remotely connect to my Raspberry Pi, which is pretty cool. Kind of like a little remote team viewer or Parsec. This does have Bluetooth. It does have Wi-Fi built in. We are in Ethernet right now, which is gigabit, by the way. That's a big upgrade on the Raspberry Pi 5, is you get gigabit Ethernet instead of just 100 megabit per second. All right, so I did figure out we can actually do a little task manager action here. And as you guys can see, we have 16 gigs of RAM on this bad boy, which is pretty crazy. We do have an APU, but it actually does show like separate CPU and GPU usages. The Raspberry Pi 5 is like about, I think it's 4 times as powerful as the Raspberry Pi 4, which a lot of people really loved. So pretty solid, that's for sure. And I'm hoping with Pi OS it runs really well. So, I mean, at this point, I think I've seen about everything I need to see with like the desktop. It's very basic, there's not much to it. It has everything you need though to get started. I'm gonna go ahead and try to just see what things I can get downloaded on here that actually involve gaming, because this is, after all, a ARM-based CPU, and although we're getting closer and closer to being able to game on these things every day, there's still quite a bit of limitations with them. All right, here we go. My first sudo command at the very moment. I don't even know if this is technically a sudo command since it doesn't say sudo anywhere. I'm really glad I don't have to type all that in. Oh, okay, it doesn't want the little, I don't know why it's, okay, that time it looks right. Oh, here we go. All right, so we're installing Pi apps right now. This is GitHub Pi apps. Pi apps should be like a Raspberry Pi app store, essentially. It may already be on here and I just didn't see it. I looked for it and I couldn't find it. It looks like that's it. Okay, let's launch Pi apps. Now, in theory, from what I was reading, we should be able to get, obviously Steam Link we know will work. Steam Link will make it to where I can play, I think, any game pretty much from here and stream it from one of my Windows PCs. That's cool. If that's all I can do, I'll try it, but it's just not cool enough to me. I want to actually natively play. I don't want to stream games to this. I want to natively play some games on here, the games that are actually supported. So I'm hoping through the Pi apps area, I can actually open real Steam, download real Steam, which I read you could do. So we're gonna find out here. Look at all the stuff you can install here. There's so many different things. Okay. If I do all apps, can I search? No. I know that once I get Steam, if it'll let me, oh look, we can do Minecraft Bedrock. Minecraft Pi. Minecraft Pi we've done. We might have to get that one. OBS, cool. I know they have Discord and stuff through here. This has like all of the apps most normal people could want. There's Steam, not Steam Link, which is sick. Okay, let's press install. This basically makes it to where we can skip around some of the sudo stuff, hopefully, like having to type in stuff into the command, which isn't a big deal. I could Google, you know, what it takes to do it, but I'm curious to see if this makes it a little bit easier and cleaner. Let's just keep the original one. I don't really know what that means. Steam failed because it encountered an error. We're off to a good start, ladies and gentlemen. Try to retry. Will it let me? Your current kernel is built with 16K file size, incompatible with x86. Must switch to 4K. Okay, that's what I did. So okay, that might work then. So it says reboot now, and then install the Box86 app again. So maybe I have to do that separately. I don't know. Let's try to reboot it. All right, so a little quick update. I restarted the PC. I went to our apps. I did not see Steam right away, so then I think I clicked on the Steam install again, and then it was running all these scripts, all these commands, and it looks like it installed. So I'm gonna show you guys, let's go to installed here. So you can see we have Box64, Box86, and Steam. So from the little knowledge I have, basically your normal, Windows PCs and stuff like that, Intel, AMD, those are x86 CPUs and x64. And basically when you have a CPU like what's in this Raspberry Pi, that's an ARM-based chip. That's often what's in phones and other things like that. And they're very common, but they're not really common for gaming. So not operating systems, but apps like Steam and probably Minecraft and other things like that don't natively just run on ARM. And that's where you get these emulators like Box86 and Box64 that help certain apps, like a compatibility layer essentially. So in theory, let's just see. Let me click Steam here. Is it gonna make me reboot again? This emulates blah blah. And it has 53,000 users. Can I just open it? See, I see it says Steam, but then it says this emulates. Oh no, it says it emulates the x86 version of Steam. So, because you know what? I did just finish installing it. Let's try the reboot. I'm feeling like, the good news about Linux is it reboots really fast. It's like 5 seconds. Let's try to execute. It's so funny how some of this stuff, like, I don't know, I'm sure some people like love the command, or the console, whatever they call it, and like love all the little quirky. I'm just like, I don't know, can you guys just make it easy? Can we just put open? Why is there a difference of open and execute? It's a lot for a little fella like me, okay? Raspberry Pi install command. I'm making commends. Okay, sure. Let's give that a go. Let's just see what happens. I mean, Good news is it's pretty, I keep forgetting. Can't just, oh, I do have it. Cool. Command not found, okay. Oh, so I have to install whatever this is first. I feel like I've had to do this a lot. Apt update. I'm not gonna pretend like I really know exactly what I'm even doing. I'm installing snapd. I don't know what snapd is. So now we should be able to do our sudo steam install, which I feel like I could probably remember, but I'm just gonna pull it up again so I don't type it in wrong. And that, yep, and there we go. All right, now we're gonna try this. Let's try. Paste. Steam is not available on a stable, but is available to install from the following channels. Cannot install unsupported features. Try to refresh snapd. It might have been here the whole time. Wait, okay, hold up. So I can just go to menu, games. Oh my God, is this gonna work? Oh wait, it's on the homepage now. Where did it just go? It just disappeared off the homepage. Okay, let's try terminal. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know exactly what I did. I restarted the system one more time, and then you can see here I have the screen. I did the sudo install. It said that it failed the really long string you see here. It said it failed. So then I tried doing like open Steam again. It's like, it's already open. I'm like, where is it? And so then I did update and upgrade. And then I saw Steam in the background like open for a sec doing like an update. And I was like, whoa, whoa, there it is. Then it went away. Then I went back here and opened Steam again. And you guys see what I'm seeing, right? So I'm gonna try to log in here. I'm gonna go ahead and leave Chromium up in the background because I feel like I'm gonna need it some more. We're gonna let this load in. I can do some emulation, but that's not really what this video is about. I mean, I know that's a great use of Linux, so I'm not discounting that. I'm really trying to just see what kind of like modern stuff I can get into though. So it's a little slow, a little finicky. What's going on? Oh God. Is there like a way to see like a different desktop here? It's almost like it's like going, I don't have more than one screen, by the way. Why am I just, why can I only see games? I know Apex won't work. Let's do a game that normally would work on Linux. Or at least, I say normally, I don't know if it normally works on Linux when you have like, you know, an Intel or AMD CPU. Let's just try this. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna create a desktop shortcut. Okay, I think it's installing in the drive. I don't know why Steam looks like this right now. I'm not gonna keep messing with things. I'm gonna let this install. Give me another minute. I'm gonna see if we can just get a game to launch. I don't wanna make you guys sit through all this, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, guys, so they say you should save the best for last, but I think I'm gonna do best for first because I am gonna be playing Java Minecraft, and I'm talking like logged into Microsoft and everything on Linux, which is crazy. And at that, we're on ARM Linux, which is even harder to just do anything really, it feels like. So I found this awesome write-up, raspberrytips.com/install Minecraft Java Raspberry Pi. Really simple URL. I'm just gonna scroll through this quick because it wasn't a hard process, but it's a little bit long. And basically here, this part was interesting. You gotta actually pick like which version you wanna run of Minecraft, but they're the real versions, which is pretty freaking cool. And what we actually have to get is called Prism Launcher, which is basically just like anything else. It's almost like an emulator that emulates you being on Windows. And we're gonna press launch. I hope this still just works. I got it to work for like 5 minutes the other day and then I just like, you know, exited out because I wanted you guys to see it. I see kill, launch, oh, there it goes, okay. You know, typical Minecraft, I gotta be patient. Let's go single player, we'll go ahead and go to our YouTube world. It's the one I just went ahead and generated the other day. Now we are down to 720p, so I did a little bit more thinking, and although this Raspberry Pi is way better than the Raspberry Pi 4 in the previous gens, it still is kind of equivalent to something like an Intel Celeron N100, which is a 4-core, 4-thread with really old and outdated integrated graphics that are not great. So you gotta keep in mind, we're on a 4-core, 4-thread ARM-based processor that really isn't designed for gaming. It's not really designed for super graphical things in general. So honestly, I'm kind of just thankful when games launch at this point. Now Minecraft right now, you know, I guess we're probably getting, this is probably about 15 FPS. I think if we press, is it F5? Nope, that's that, F3? F3, we are getting, okay, so 25 FPS just sitting still. Wow, is this just what almost 30 FPS looks like? It's been a while. I mean, yeah, we're getting like 20 to 30. Now, I do think we can still lower some settings here. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can make this better. Biome blend, can we do, that might help. Let's see, brightness, max frame rate. We could lower this render distance out a lot, actually. That might really help us out. I still don't know what map levels do. They added this a long time ago. I remember it was like one of the first settings they added that I kind of remember. We'll turn clouds like off, basically. Entity shadows, yeah, you know what, we can, wow, we actually, there's a lot of settings that could turn out. I did not realize that. I was definitely not running no minimum settings by any means. I think this will be a lot better now. Let's see. Ooh, this is how I remember Minecraft as a kid. I first started playing Minecraft on my dual-core Athlon PC with 2 gigs of RAM, and I remember I had to be on the lowest. I mean, this is back when Minecraft ran a lot different too. It didn't have nearly as many settings, but I was on like, you know, the minimum render distance where I could only see 5 feet out. Best time I ever had in Minecraft though. You know, that's not normally how it is. Usually when the game runs the worst, it's probably the best time you ever had playing it, funny enough. But hey, now, this is looking pretty good. We're getting a tad under 60 FPS, guys. Let's see if we run along here, if we get like some chunk loading. I get a game that's not really supposed to run on this thing to run. It's kind of exciting. Now, that doesn't mean that I would not love doing this for a living, having to troubleshoot gaming every single day, because I will be honest, I've started this video like 4 days ago now, and I've just been tinkering with this thing, just trying to get any game to run. So it's not been easy, but the good news is I have other games lined up that I know run. So anyways, Minecraft, low settings, we know we can get 30 to 60 FPS, which is pretty slick. Let's go ahead and go to another game. So here's a good example of a game that's kind of like an emulator more so. This is Pacman. I did use a sudo command to download this. Pretty cool. And as you guys can see, games like this, oh, perfect. I mean, no lag. It runs just like it should. We got good sound. The sound just disappeared right when I said that. I don't know what happened to it. Well, that's, you know, I was streaming this earlier, this whole experience, and every time I'd have a problem, chat would go, oh, just another Linux quirk, and I'm like, yeah, I love it. It's so cool. Oh, I got trapped. But hey, games like this, there's a bunch of them that actually come pre-installed on the Raspberry Pi as well. There's like soccer, there's all types of different games. Some of them are like clones of, you know, name brand games that are Raspberry Pi-esque, not copyright. But you can get all kinds of emulation style games that run amazing. Like anything from like, I would say PS2 and prior, original Xbox, Sega, Nintendo, you know, all that stuff. You can get, you know, if you know what you're looking for. There's lots of videos on YouTube on how to get some really good emulation games. And you can make this thing into like a machine that holds like 10,000 games if you want to. It's pretty insane, but let's go ahead and go to another one. Okay, so next up, we're gonna talk about something that I really wanted to do, and I got it to work, kind of. That is Steam. So, as you can see, I'm logging into a native Steam environment. This isn't like Steam Link. This isn't any type of weird, like the Minecraft Prism thing. This is literally Steam. I think meant for Linux, if I'm not mistaken, but it's not meant to run on ARM. And you'll see that because there's weird quirks, like how it just closed out there. I can reopen it here. Sometimes it opens into the actual Steam, like this. This looks like real Steam, right? Like it is real Steam. I say it looks like it is real Steam. Sometimes though it gets kind of quirky. Like if I go to the store, like, and this PC is not that bad. I promise you if we were on the N100 on like a little cheap laptop, I'd be able to load Steam just fine. This is just the user interface not being designed to run on this. So like you can see here, it's just like, I'm like locked up right now. I'm just gonna go back to library. Sometimes the library will just be the games, like full screen. It won't be like the whole Steam environment screen like you see here. I don't know, it's really weird. Now, I know Team Fortress 2 will not launch. I'm very sad about that because that is a good Linux game that's got like 50,000 players consistently. It just won't launch for some reason. It'll work on Linux that's, you know, x86 or x64 based, so, you know, Windows and Mac and stuff like that. It just does not want to work on ARM for some reason. It wasn't designed to. None of this is really. Now, Left 4 Dead 2 is a game that I know works, but once again, it is finicky. I'm gonna try to press play here. It does not perform well. I'm just warning you guys now. Can I skip? Yep. Intro looks good though, right? It looks like it was gonna be promising, but then once you get into the game, once you get in the menu even, you're just like, oh, okay, I see the problem here. Oh, or the game just crashes like that. That's another fun thing I've been dealing with, because I know this works. I literally loaded into a game before. Just sometimes, like I said, it takes multiple tries. I think that is what's happening though. Maybe there's settings I can turn off. I won't skip this part. I know I can skip the intro because I've done that before. This game's so good. Just old Valve is so good. God, I love the intro and everything. Everything is so good. Come on. Come on. I feel like I'm starting an old car right now. No, dude, why? Okay, guys, I am finally in Left 4 Dead 2. So it was working like fine, but it does look like this, by the way. This is what it looks like. I cannot get it to run good. I've tried all the way down to 640 by 480 or whatever, 800 by 600. I've tried those reses. I don't think it's the hardware. I think it's just the incompatibility. Because there's some games that I'm like, I know this would run on the Celeron N100 and get 20, 30 FPS. This is like a slideshow. So I don't know, but ultimately how I got to launch was I had to do the dash safe, which puts the game in safe mode. Fun fact, on Steam, almost every game you can do console commands when you start them up. So it's startup launch commands. I put safe, which put it in like, let's see what settings we're on. I'm just glad it finally worked to get, oh my God, don't press exit, please. So we are on 640 by 480, and let's see, watch this, the game's probably gonna be like freaking high settings for some reason. Why is it at high settings, dude? All right. I want to give this thing a chance. We're going to try. If I can just get all these settings down. Once again, I think there's just some weird compatibility things going on here with it being ARM and not being designed to run this. I don't expect this to do much, but it just sucks because I'm like, man, I really want to, I know this has the horsepower to run some of this stuff, you know? The game's either going to crash right here or it's going to freaking work. Okay, you know what? It's still unplayable, but it actually did increase the FPS. Hey guys, if I had to guess, we're probably getting about anywhere between 4 and like 6 FPS. Like, you know what? It's not, I was gonna say it's not crashing. I feel like, are we about to crash? It does not like those gunshots. Well, hey, at the end of the day, I finally got it to work, which feels like an achievement, even though it's not really playable. I do have, I think, one other Steam game that I got to work. There is a lot more out there that would work, by the way. I don't want to buy 100 different games and have to uninstall and reinstall things, but there is really good list online for every Linux distro, including Raspberry Pi OS on a Raspberry Pi, of what games people have got to work. And there's actually a pretty lengthy list. A lot of the games you may have never heard of. They're just kind of indie games that are designed to run anything. But all right, Left 4 Dead it's just frozen, I think. So hey, I got it to play, which is cool. Let's go to the next game. Okay, I don't think Half-Life is going to work. It's just one of those things, like I said. I think that this thing has the horsepower, well, some horsepower, but I think that it's just not meant to run Steam at the end of the day, not natively. By the way, Steam Link and everything does work fine. I didn't really want to show that because all that is you're basically just loading up an interface. And then you're almost remote desktoping. Basically, if I open a game, it'll open on one of like either my office PC or my home PC, and then it will stream it to the Raspberry Pi, which by the way, works great. There's a little bit of latency, but it works really good. There's just already so many videos out there on that. Like, I want to be doing the things that you guys were like, oh, I didn't know it could do that, which, well, right now I'm probably not really proving much besides Minecraft, but I do have something else lined up that we're going to go to next because, yeah, I'm just calling Half-Life pretty much a dud. Okay, this is another cool one. This is the Doom 3 demo. So if you actually own the game, you can actually have the whole entire game. I just don't think I own it anywhere, so we're just going to go ahead and go into this little demo here. Let's check it out. We are in Doom 3. We are just using the real basic tutorial here. This is really dark. Oh, I fist. Oh, I can't hit him. Darn. Kind of reminds me of, you know, I never played like the really old Dooms. I did play the new Doom, Dark Ages. But this kind of reminds me of like Halo. It's like Halo 1. I guess it's around that time period, like what was it, 2004-ish. But hey, this game actually, you know, minus, I think when we get into some gunplay and stuff, it's probably not going to run the greatest in all honesty, but right now it's not bad. And there's a lot of examples of this, a lot of like old PC games that there's pseudo commands and like app store ways to install. They may not give you the full game, but once again, you know, emulation and stuff exists, and there's definitely some good ways that you can be able to play the games that you used to know and love on this little guy right here. Just this little keyboard, good to go. The clickies are fun. Honestly, it's just a fun experience. So I think that this is my last game at the moment. I'm just going to show you guys some of the other things that I've kind of discovered that you can do on this Raspberry Pi. But as you guys can see, we have apps like OBS where we could actually do live streaming and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And there's some other cool apps. Like I only downloaded one real like app store, which is the Pi apps. And you get a lot of stuff with that. So if I load up like all apps here, I just want you guys to see This is just the ones that come like pre-ready to go. You can just press it and press install and then you have it. There's actually a surprising amount of stuff here. There's a bunch of games, there's a bunch of really useful apps. I think at the end of the day, the main thing that you're buying something like a Raspberry Pi for is you either have a specific application you want to use it for, or you're into tinkering, or maybe you want to get into it and you want to learn how to do certain things. That's kind of the glory part about a Raspberry Pi, or just like a mini PC that's running Linux in general, is you want to try to learn some coding, some tinkering and whatnot. It's a pretty cool experience for some people out there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this back over to the table here and kind of wrap up the video and my thoughts. So Raspberry Pi 500 Plus, what kind of person is it for? Once again, it is for someone who wants to tinker or has a specific use case for it. Now the 500 Plus, like I said it from the start, it is a cool freaking piece of technology because you get those gate-around clicky switches, you get a customizable RGB keyboard that looks really good, and of course the Raspberry Pi 5 built into it. But at the time of filming, this thing has gone up to over $400. And I know a lot of people do not like that. They think it's pretty crazy, but sadly that's the times that we're in because of RAM and storage pricing. With this thing having 16 gigs of DDR5 and an NVMe SSD, yeah, these things are probably just gonna keep going up until AI goes down, hopefully. But at the end of the day, this thing was really cool. I'm glad I got it for 260 bucks. So let me know down below if this is something that you guys liked seeing and what other things I should have done so that maybe next time if I get a Raspberry Pi again, I can switch it up and do some other things, because I do always feel like I'm lost doing these videos with Linux. But guys, we hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Now hey, look, I'm gonna let you guys in a little secret. This Raspberry Pi 500 Plus, you don't have to spend $430 for like Micro Center has it. You can buy it from PCBros.tech for a discounted price. So make sure you guys use code ToastyBros at checkout to save another 3% off your purchase. See you guys later. Peace out.